Hi again, Gregg Bell of the News Tribune at Super Bowl 60 in Levi's Stadium. The confetti flying Super Bowl MVP trophy given to Kenneth Walker on the final game of his contract. The Seahawks got into the locker room, the 49ers home locker room. No, it wasn't lost on them, their division rivals locker room, that they were celebrating their second NFL championship in 50 years of Seahawks football. Mike Macdonald came into the locker room. It's a big smile on his face. A 38-year-old head coach looked at me and said, "How about that? How about that?" 6 sacks of Drake Maye by Mike Macdonald's defense. Devin Witherspoon, the game-turning play with a sack, a forced fumble right into the arms of Uchenna Nwosu. He said, "All I saw was the end zone and green grass in front of him for the decisive touchdown." It made it a 3-score game. Early in the fourth quarter, the Seahawks forced 3 turnovers in the second half. I voted for Devin Witherspoon to win the MVP award. I had one of 3 of the Seattle contingent votes of the 16, I believe it was, that voted. Kenneth Walker, though, 135 yards rushing on 27 carries, wins the MVP in the final year of the running back's contract. Off the hook, off the chains in the locker room after the game, the cigar smoke coming all the way down the tunnel, the music, everyone posing with the Lombardi Trophy, Devin Witherspoon and others walking around with a USA Today champions headline color photo of Sam Darnold. DeMarcus Lawrence hugged Darnold in the middle of the locker room. Both of them 20 years combined in the NFL. This is their first Super Bowl championship. 20 years of OTAs and mini camps and training camps and signings and cuts and losses and season-ending locker cleanouts. And tonight, both of them with their first Super Bowl championship. Lawrence hugged Darnold and thanked him. Darnold hugged Lawrence and thank you. Thank you to the defense. Then Sam Darnold walked over to his departing offensive coordinator, his play caller, probably his closest coach, Clint Kubiak. He's going to be the Raiders head coach tomorrow, the head coach. And Darnold looked at his departing OC and said, "Thanks for a job well done." A few minutes later, Darnold said, "I didn't know what else to say." Darnold said this was a team effort. He lauded his defense yet again, the one that absolutely took Drake Maye and the New England Patriots out of the Super Bowl from the start. It was 271-78 in total yards going into the fourth quarter. It was 19-0 before New England even scored. 29-13. It wasn't that close. Mike Macdonald, the defense that he built is the legacy of this Seahawks championship season. Number 1 in the NFL in yards allowed and points allowed. They took over the start of the Super Bowl and never let go. They did it from pressuring Maye in a different way. Lately, they hadn't blitzed as much. Well, today in the game plan, Devin Witherspoon blitzing twice in consecutive third down passes, getting a sack in 1, forcing an incompletion, and another in 2 punts. I asked Witherspoon after the game. He said, "Yeah, it was a little different," and he enjoyed that. He said it's always in the playbook. Macdonald always doesn't use that, and then tonight he did. The defense talked about how Drake Maye was uncomfortable. Uchenna Nwosu said that was the plan. And Nwosu said Maye is their whole team. And the game plan was to take away Drake Maye. They would take away the Patriots' offense. John Schneider talked about after the game in the locker room, amid the cigar smoke, and the beer, and the champagne, and the Lombardi trophies, how hard it is to do this twice. He did it 12 years ago as a younger GM with an older head coach and an older, more swaggered team. Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson, Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill, who are outside the locker room tonight after the game. Jermaine Kearse outside the locker room after the game. This was different. A young head coach, a younger team, 3rd youngest team in the NFL, and a defense that did it a different way. They pressured more. They were mixing and matching more. They were disguising more. They had Nick Emanwari playing 5 positions this season. This is a modern-day NFL defense, changing and different by the snap, and New England had absolutely no answer for it. Jody Allen on the podium behind me after the game said that thanks 12s worldwide. Thanked Mike Macdonald and John Schneider for the team they put together. There may be an ownership change coming up for the Seahawks. There's going to be a new offensive coordinator coming up for the Seahawks. But their quarterback's coming back, their head coach is coming back, and the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL that just won the Super Bowl is coming back. All my coverage is at thenewstribune.com and on Twitter X at GBellSeattle as always. Chris Biderman from the Sacramento Bee joining me, coming down here to help out with a sidebar story on all that happened tonight. Kenneth Walker's MVP. Devin Witherspoon could have been MVP. That's who I voted for, actually, for the Super Bowl MVP, as I said. Brian Hayes of the News Tribune, our videographer and photographer here. All our coverage is at thenewstribune.com. As always, thank you for watching. I'll be at the Moscone Center in San Francisco tomorrow for the MVP and head coach press conference with Kenneth Walker, of all people, and Mike Macdonald. Thanks for watching.